A family tragedy unfolded because of complicated relationships. In 1995, a mysterious case shocked Hohhot, Inner Mongolia. 4 of the 5 family members were victims. Among them was Bao Wenxiang, the deputy director of the Inner Mongolia Forestry Academy, who was found dead at home. His wife, Wurina, and 21-year-old son, Bao Yinhui, also lost their lives. Their 17-year-old daughter, Bao Jina, was also killed with signs that she had been harmed. The eldest son, Bao Yingtao, survived because he wasn't home that day. After an investigation, the police came to a strange conclusion. There was no direct evidence of a killer. The case was left unsolved, and it took over a year for the truth to finally emerge, and when it did, it was shocking.
If you want ordinary, look elsewhere. Welcome to TC Channel, where other channels fall short, unique mysteries solved step by step.
On January 18th, 1995, police arrived quickly after the report came in. They found Bao Wenxiang's home had 2 doors, a security door and a wooden door, neither of which had been broken open. The 4 victims were all dead, their bodies covered with blankets. There were no signs of a struggle or attempted escape, suggesting the attacker might have caught them off guard. The medical examiner estimated the time of death was around the evening of January 17th. A rifle was found in the living room with a spent cartridge still in place. There were no traces of the killer, and all fingerprints belonged to the family with no outside prints. Bao Wenxiang's bedroom showed signs of being searched, but a safe with over 10,000 yuan in cash was left untouched. The family dog was locked on the balcony, but unharmed. Other than the bodies, the floor was unnaturally clean. The scene didn't look like a break-in, but if it was, why wasn't there any sign of a struggle, and why was nothing taken? These questions still haven't been answered. Further investigation revealed that Bao Jina wasn't socially active, had no early romantic relationships, and wasn't involved with any men. Neighbors and co-workers described Bao Wenxiang as having a bad reputation. He was said to be greedy and disrespectful, mistreating his subordinates while flattering his superiors. Neighbors claimed he used his position to bully people, and that he often fought with his wife. Some believed he had angered powerful people, while others thought his past actions had made him enemies. Many theories were suggested, but none were backed by solid evidence. The police kept digging into Bao Wenxiang's background. They discovered he had made a lot of enemies at work. His financial dealings were messy, and there was a lot of cash and valuables stashed in his home. He was also tied up in some unresolved legal battles. There were too many unanswered questions in the case, leaving the police with no clear direction. Bao Wenxiang's position only made things more complicated. The investigation sparked a lot of rumors, so the case was officially considered unsolved. In 1996, the case was reopened and became a major focus. This time, the police decided to try a different approach. They started looking into people in Bao Wenxiang's social circle. First, they needed someone who was close to him, someone who could easily get into his house. Second, the killer had to have a serious grudge against the Bao family and probably knew the family well. The police then turned their attention to Ouyang Cheng. He was a former subordinate of Bao Wenxiang who had openly criticized him before. But what was strange was that recently Ouyang Cheng had become very close to Bao Wenxiang. This raised suspicions that Ouyang Cheng might have been trying to get close to him to plan some sort of revenge. The police quickly began their investigation. They found out Ouyang Cheng was a son-in-law who had risen through his father-in-law's connections but wasn't highly respected at home. He was often ignored. As his career took off, his wife's health started to decline. Their marriage began to fall apart. At one point, he confided in a friend. To his surprise, the friend helped him out by offering a solution to his problems, but that only made his wife suspicious, and she eventually left him. Soon after, Ouyang Cheng was fired from his job. and his life took a major downturn. At that point, Ouyang Cheng blamed Bao Wenxiang. After all, Bao Wenxiang was the one who had fired him. Others had similar issues but only faced minor consequences, but Ouyang Cheng was the only one who lost his job. This made him resent Bao Wenxiang even more, and he began talking openly about his anger. After being fired, Ouyang Cheng, with his friends' help, opened a nightclub. The business took off, and his life improved. Even more surprisingly, he and Bao Wenxiang went from being enemies to becoming friends. Bao Wenxiang even started visiting Ouyang Cheng's nightclub regularly, partying until late. On January 18th, 1995, the day of the incident, Ouyang Cheng paid a visit to Bao's home. This seemed to confirm the police's suspicions, but despite their investigation, Ouyang Cheng had an alibi for the time of the crime. Once again, the case hit a dead end. The police returned to the neighborhood where Bao Wenxiang lived. They found some new clues. They spoke to 25 employees from the institute and 124 of their relatives. Everyone said the night of the incident was unusually quiet. No one heard anything out of the ordinary. This was odd, because Bao's dog was usually very loud. It barked every time it saw a stranger. But on the night of the incident, the dog was strangely quiet. They re-examined the scene and noticed things they missed before. One clue was a bullet that hadn't been ejected and the clean floor. If the killer knew the Bao family, they would know there were 5 people in the house. After killing 4, the killer would likely change the bulletto, make sure they could shoot the last person if they came home. But why was the bullet still in the chamber, and how did the killer have time to clean up the scene? Did they know Bao Yingtao wouldn't be home that night? Another strange thing was, there were no signs of a struggle. The doors and windows were intact. This meant the killer either had a key to the house or was let in by someone inside. A third clue was a call on Bao Yingfu's pager from home. The timing of the call matched exactly when the murders occurred. Putting all the clues together, the police focused on Bao Yingtao as the main suspect. They looked into his actions on the day of the crime. No one could confirm where he was, and he had enough time to commit the crime. Bao Wenxiang's bedroom was the most disturbed, and many of Bao Yingtao's fingerprints were found. This didn't match the troubled relationship between father and son. The day after the murders, Bao Yingtao showed extreme sadness, but quickly returned to normal, almost like he was acting. The police considered him a major suspect, but no solid evidence was found at the scene. A year and a half had passed since the incident, making it even harder to gather evidence. On June 17, 1996, the investigation team reported to the city leaders and public security officials. They also invited the prosecution and court leaders to discuss the case. It was decided Bao Yingtao would be the main suspect. They began an intense interrogation using tech tools to assist. By June 19th, Bao Yingtao finally broke down and confessed to everything. He revealed he had been raised by his grandmother and didn't return to his parents until he was 8. He'd always had a difficult relationship with them. Then, something happened in 3rd grade that changed his life forever. One day, after school, he came home and found his father and the young nanny in a compromising situation. This deeply scarred him. He told his mother the nanny was fired, but soon after, his father started abusing him. Things only got worse from there. One night, Bao Yingtao came home to find his father sneaking into his sister Bao Jina's room. He heard strange sounds and tried to intervene, but his mother stopped him. She coldly said, "Your sister isn't even your real sibling. Why do you care?" After that, Bao Yingtao tried to check on his sister, but she showed disgust toward him and accused him of meddling. He was stunned by her response. He never imagined his family could be so twisted. He started distancing himself from his parents and sister and only spoke to his brother. In September 1994, Bao Yingtao faced major debt after a business failure and had to mortgage his shop, but still couldn't escape his financial problems. One day, he thought back to that traumatic night, his father's violence, his mother's coldness, and the weight of his financial troubles. All of it pushed him toward a chilling idea. End it all. and inherit the family wealth. Bao Yingtao had no real affection for his family. After careful planning, on January 18, 1995, he went through with the tragic act. Using a mirror to reflect light, he lured his parents and sister into his room, where he killed them. After killing 3 people, he received a message from his brother saying he was going to a friend's house and wouldn't be back. He knew if he let his brother leave, the whole plan could be exposed. So he told his brother to go home and cook for their mother and sister while he went to take care of things. Then he killed his brother and cleaned up the scene. To cover his tracks, he knocked on the door loudly, waiting a long time, but no one answered. He went to ask the neighbors, claiming he'd forgotten his keys, and asked them to pass 2 pieces of glass to his mother. A 25-year-old man could commit such a horrific crime. On June 25, 1996, Bao Yingtao was officially arrested. Facing trial, he remained calm, as though he had been expecting it. Since the incident, he hadn't tried to escape, knowing that disappearing would make him the focus of a manhunt. But for the past year, he had been tormented by guilt and regret, keeping him awake at night. On July 1, 1996, the court sentenced Bao Yingtao to death. He said, "I won't appeal. I admit my guilt and just hope the law punishes me quickly." These were his final words, showing both remorse and helplessness. His father's actions and his mother's coldness had indirectly led to this tragedy. If his parents had been different, could any of this have happened? Family neglect, abuse, and dysfunction can have deep and lasting effects on children. Parents must be mindful of their actions, as they can significantly shape a child's future. In this case, emotional neglect and family violence contributed to a devastating outcome. This tragedy serves as a reminder to prioritize love, understanding, and support within families, and to always be aware of how actions and words can affect those around us. Let's work together to create healthier, safer environments for every child. Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and follow for more updates.